Hi, Solomon. This is Jim Gillis with Win My Vote, and thanks so much for getting back to me. So the best way to describe Win My Vote is it's the online version of the voter information guide and sample ballot that's put out by the Elections Department. San Francisco, California, 2016, it was 209 pages, I think, without a single picture, I don't think. Also, just for the candidates to get in there, the candidate statements are thousands of dollars. I was shocked to find out that in Los Angeles County, for county sheriff, to have an English-only statement is $100,000. If you want to have an English and a Spanish statement, it's $200,000, which just eliminates everybody except for the incumbent or some extremely well-funded candidate running for sheriff. So, but anyway, that's a little side issue. So the way that it works is that, and again, the aim of Win My Vote is to take money out of politics, take money out of elections, really have a level playing field where we voters are back in charge of the vote. And I think that the main reason that we're not is simply because there is no site where we can look at all the candidates, you know, and all the races side by side, pick our favorites, find our polling place and vote, and really manage our vote. So again, the way that it works is that the voter puts a zip code in and gets his own online interactive ballot. And from here, there's lots of features. There's, you know, finding your polling place, there's sharing on social media, there's important dates, there's, you know, anything that you would need around the process of voting or deciding for whom to vote, you know, is on this ballot page. And with this, what will happen is that as the candidates build their profile and they try to win our vote, you know, it's the same way they would build a Facebook page or a Twitter account or an online dating account, you know, or a LinkedIn profile. They build their profile, they, you know, get on this ballot here where they're running, and then they do their best to win our vote. They would be populated, you know, one by one. We'd get a little message saying, hey, there's another candidate that's just announced, you know, built their profile for city attorney, and we can see all of their stuff. So I'll show you a completed ballot and what that looks like. So I'll use the 2016 presidential ballot as an example. So that ballot you saw earlier, so candidates start building their profiles and they start entering on the ballot, and now I can see all the candidates that are in, you know, all of the races, and I can go down. For example, Board of Supervisors, District 7, I can go through and I can, you know, see what each one of these have to say. Like Michael Young, for example, I would never know that he was running for District 7 Supervisor. He's not the incumbent, he's not well funded, but now I can just click on him and I can hear what he has to say.
Mike Young for District 7 Supervisor, Harvard, Berkeley, Lowell graduate, former U.S. Army infantry officer, former U.S. diplomat.
You know, and I can say great on that, and then I can listen to some of his issue statements here.
你好，我是 Mike Young 杨浩然，今年参选旧金山第7区市议员。想多了解我，请登录 Vote Mike.
So that was a good example of what I was saying earlier about the county sheriff for LA. English, you know, $100,000. Spanish, $100,000. You know, if you wanted to do it in Cantonese, you wanted to do it in Vietnamese, you know, any other language is $100,000, which just becomes ridiculous. So here, you know, you build a profile and you can do as many videos as you want. You can do different languages. You know, we actually have Translate on there, so you can do written stuff, and then people can translate it into whatever, you know, language they want. The other thing I was going to show you is that you can also see the endorsements, and those will be right here. And again, this is a little bit slow just because it's my tablet. There's a ton of stuff running on it with the video capture software, as well as a very slow network. So in this section right here, I can see all of this candidate's endorsements, and I can, you know, scroll through the featured ones. If I want, I can just click and see all of them, and then I can just click straight through and hear what they have to say.
Leadership is not yelling and screaming and intimidating, right? Yeah, she knows.
And then, you know, this is another good example. This is my son knows this guy from YouTube. He's like a big-time YouTuber.
Hillary Clinton. I will be voting for Hillary Clinton. I avoid talking politics on this channel, on this forum, because politics are divisive. There's always two sides.
And again, this gives the site has the flexibility to have throughout the generations, right? My son can come up here and he can pick his trusted sources, which would be guys like that, and a variety of other options. And hopefully, I would convince him to add a couple of my trusted sources on there as well to give him some balance. But people can opt into it. So again, this is something that is very much different than Facebook and Twitter and these other things where there's bots and who knows what and fake news and all this other stuff, right? You're really opting into your trusted sources. So like your organization, I would love to know who you guys are backing in a lot of the different races. Would love to know where your stance is on certain propositions and measures. You guys kind of do the heavy lifting, and we know you, so we can then just hear what you have to say about each one. And I'll give you an example on that as well on the propositions page. So here are the propositions in San Francisco, California, 2016. The state, we had 17 propositions, and at the county level, we had 25. So to give you an example of how just ridiculous this ballot was and how overwhelming it was. But this is a good example. I can click on Proposition 55. I can read the actual text. It should start as undecided. I can watch a little 1-minute explainer video. We do this with like a local public radio station, a public television station that does these. And there's a bunch of other organizations out there that do sort of these neutral readings of the propositions. But Ethan Behrman is someone that I like and I follow, and I can click on that and I can hear what he has to say.
When does temporary mean temporary? Well, it doesn't here in California when it comes to money and taxes. We passed Proposition 30 back in the Board of Education, a county board of education, and a district board of education. All other states have two, state level, district level. I say absolutely no. By the way, I have kids in public schools in California. I want the best public schools. I still say no on Prop 55.
And with that, maybe I don't have much time and I only check a couple of sources, but now I'm pretty confident that I'm going to go with no on Proposition 55, and I can go back up and I can see that this is no on Prop 55. I can also see that 13% supporting it, 7% against it, and there's still 80% of the people that are on Win My Vote have yet to decide. They're still at the undecided stage, which that for me is good information. Maybe I'll share it with a couple of people. And I feel strongly maybe I'll share Ethan Behrman's trusted sources page and say, hey, you should add this guy to your ballot. He does all the research, that kind of a thing. And again, the big advantage between this and Facebook and Twitter and that type of stuff is that when you're getting the information, you're clicking yes or no, or you're supporting a candidate right then and there, so that you don't have to then go back and try to remember that candidate's name or what position you have on certain propositions. This was another great one. It seems like everyone gets into the mix. The Monterey Bay Aquarium on this overuse of plastic bags. They end up in our bay. So yeah, I wanted to hear what they have to say about it.
Hey there, YouTube. My name's Patrick, and this lovely lady here is Makana, the Laysan albatross. We have a very important message for California voters. Please vote yes on Prop 67 for a plastic-free ocean. All right, I think we nailed it. That went pretty. Oh, hey, you're still here. All right, let's keep it rolling. A yes vote on Prop 67, which is all positive, by the way.
And with that, Ethan Behrman looks like he is against it. So this is very interesting.
Who should get the money? Well, California banned plastic bags in 2014. There's been a controversy ever since because it required grocers to charge for your paper bags. So we have Proposition 65 and 67 on the...
Yeah, so I won't bore you with that stuff, but it's a way for a voter to very quickly become informed. And with that, I'm going to maybe change mine to no. Let's say later on in that video, he makes a very compelling argument that why this is a bad idea. And now when I go back to my ballot, 67 is now no. And again, the way that the platform works is that trusted sources will be able to to reach out to their members, reach out to people. There's a variety of different features on the site, so that I can continue to be updated and informed, and if new things are happening or changing, I can do all that. The way it takes money out of politics is simply because Hillary Clinton can spend $1 billion on her campaign, and Evan McMullin can spend $1,000 on his campaign, and it really won't matter to me much, because I'm going to go right here and I'm going to hear what he has to say.
Stood up. In the primaries, you gave millions of people across the country and indeed across the world.
And I'll look at where he stands on certain issues. I'll see who's endorsing him, and again, this is an incomplete profile just because it's a demo. And then maybe I'll favorite him. Maybe he's my guy, right? Now when I go back to my ballot, you'll see he's in that first position. He's only at 4% of the favorites here on Win My Vote. So maybe I forward his profile, or I share it with my friends on social media and say, hey, this guy's real good. Let's give this thing a run, right? Let's go with it for a couple of weeks and see if we can build up some momentum. And I can get into the different strategies about leading up to elections as well, on how some of the advantages will work out using this type of a platform. But that's the basics of how it works. Again, Evan now can win votes directly. He can see how he's doing with a percentage of favorites directly, and we're hoping that we can get a critical mass of voters on this site, and then sort of turn those tables and tell the candidates, if you want to win our vote, this is where you can do it. And you can do it for $100. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars or millions of dollars doing it. So that's the idea, and would love to talk with you. There's lots of other features that I haven't covered yet. I'll also give you a quick little peek at the new front end. So this is the old front end. This is what we used for the National Student Parent Mock Election, which was about 5 million teachers and students nationwide in late October 2016. That went off really well. We also did, as kind of a beta, the National Association of Student Council, their mock election, and that was 1,100 kids. They were all representatives from school districts throughout the country. They met in Oregon at this big jamboree thing. We left it open for about 5 or 6 hours, and then overnight, and then we shut it down I think at 10 the following day, and at about 8 in the morning, 2 hours before we were going to shut it down, it was a dead heat. Trump and Hillary were within a percentage point, which sort of surprised us all, because these were high school seniors, juniors going into being seniors, that wanted to get into student government, and we thought that it was going to be a landslide for Hillary, and we thought it was going to even be something that lacked any type of interest from the press, simply because it was going to be so lopsided. So it was very telling, and that was in June of 2016. It was very telling, for what ended up happening, that it was much different than people thought. Anyway, would love to talk with you, and like I said, lots of other different things happening on the platform feature-wise that I can talk with you about. Oh, I will show you real quickly the new site. I won't go through the whole thing because again, it's just I know this video is running long, but you'll have your this will be the ballot page where you'll look and see what your next election is coming up. You can click on that. This is what the ballot will look like. We'll have all the same functions as before. Find your polling place, important dates. You can share your ballot with other people, and I can talk with you about that another time. But the candidate profiles will look similar, but a little bit better, we think. A little bit more information here, and you'll be able to click on About Me and then scroll down the About Me page. You'll be able to click on the issues, so you can now see specific issues, and you can scroll through those. And then this right here, for the record, is where we're hoping that the negative the negative campaigning will happen. So if you're a candidate and there's lots of negative things out there about you, and you don't want to use your main message to always be addressing the negative stuff, you can kind of go here and you can address them here. And then again, you can scroll down and you can follow the saga if you want. And then they'll have, we'll have endorsements that will be like this, where you can read a little and then you can scroll down and say, I want to, see this is what the new Trusted Sources badge will look like. You can click here and see, I want to see what the AFL-CIO says about this candidate. I like Sarah Silverman. I want to hear what she has to say. I think education votes. Yep, that's great. I want to, or sorry, the CTA is off the screen. But I'd click on that and I could, again, watch the video and see the written endorsement. And then I could go back up, and if I like this candidate, I click on the star, and then I go back to the ballot, and you can see that this candidate is now, in green. And now I can move down to Secretary of State. Let's say I already know who I want there, so I just click there. Attorney General, again, I want to see the Libertarian, I want to see the Republican, the Green Party. Justice Democrat, I want to learn a little bit more about that candidate. So I can go here, and again, the About Me, and I scroll down, scroll back up, say everything sounds great, and favorite that candidate, and away I go. So that's the idea, and would love to talk with you anytime, and I can demo it and answer any questions for you. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.